Howdy there, all of you sweet story fellows watching this. I hope you have parents which weren't strict very much for you, because some of them can be pretty crazy and sometimes do things that could go very wrong for someone else or themselves. This story time is exactly about the craziest parents I have ever met in my entire life. I mean, they have their own reasons to be crazy, but they went a little too far with it. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. This all takes place when I was 17. It was winter, so naturally the snow was falling, Christmas were around the corner, I had some time away from school for holidays. Me and my friends were having some drift sessions, later on snowman building competitions, you get the vibe. So these holidays were the coolest and low-key scariest ones, because I had to meet this girl's crazy parents. And you might think to yourself, why are you constantly repeating that they're crazy? Well, you will understand that part in a bit. So I and a few of my friends were hanging out at my friend's place, just watching a movie, chilling. And one of us just goes, let's do a Tinder competition, whoever meets a girl the fastest wins $20. Hey man, we were bored, I and my homies are pretty stupid, so are our activities and interests. So all of yous immediately download and open up Tinder. Well, the majority of us had it already, who doesn't these days? Anyways, I wasn't using it much and had some nice pictures in hoodies, some of them were in the summer season on the beach, so as I was swiping right almost every swipe was a match to my surprise. No intention to brag, but I was the Chad, I've made it, a complete fuckboy. Just kidding, or not. So as I was swiping right, every time I would just text some girl something like, hey, how you doing, and so on. And I text this one girl this specific line, can I have you for Christmas, because you know, it was the Christmas season and also it was a slick move from my perspective. And some of the girls just replies with, hey, or something, and some of them doesn't reply at all. And finally, after like 30 minutes of searching and trying to somehow get some girl's attention to the point where she would want to link up, this one girl that I had texted the pickup line with the present thing replies. And says, if you wouldn't have been this naughty, you could have gotten me as a present. I know, cringe, but at the same time, hey, we got something here. She was bad though, she looked like a girl from that one movie Rapunzel, where she was locked up in a tower and hadn't seen a man for ages, so she was thirsty for adventures. So the talking goes on and on, it escalates into flirting, and the thing was, she lived pretty close to where we were, in the same city, which isn't that big to be honest. So I tell her this, I'll come and get my present myself, to which she replied, get it if you can, and she gave me her address. Man, I was hyped as hell. Not only I had won $20 from the Tinder champion competition I was in with my friends, but I've got this baddie wanting me to come to her and do some crazy shit with her. So I slam my phone on the desk we were sitting near and go, guess what, motherfuckers? Your boy is getting laid tonight. So everybody cheers for me. My friend ended up giving me his bike, since nobody of us had a car or neither I had my license yet. Yeah, the trip wasn't the best part of this story. I fell off the bike countless times while making my way to the shoddy, because obviously it was winter, there was snow everywhere and the ice was kind of covering the roads, so I actually ended up ripping one of my favorite winter jacket, but I was heading for the Christmas present still, so that quickly vanished out of my mind. So this shoddy ended up living like 4 maybe 5 kilometers from where my friends were, wasn't the longest ride, but I'll give it the credits of being the hardest one yet. So she drops her number while I was still on my way to her house, and what ended up happening was, she lived in a 2-floor house and at the time she was in the first floor, so I had to sneak in through the window as she told me just then that her parents were sleeping upstairs. Man, what the fuck, I traveled all this way up to her just to get told that her parents were there. Anyways, that didn't stop your boy. So I snuck up through the windows into her room, leaving snow all behind me, so I got her room a little messy, but she wasn't mad for it. As she was the bike outside, she just burst out laughing and said, you came here with that thing. And I just proudly go, I like adventures. She goes, so do I, with a moody face expression. Man, this girl was the queen of Riz. So I hop in her room, we talk for a bit, I tell her about my journey to her house and she says, it's about the time you get your present, Christmas boy. Christmas boy. That's who I was. Really? So we decide to turn on Netflix and watch some Shrek, as it was the best movie to start it off. And about 15 minutes into Shrek we start cuddling, her hand slowly moves to the right spot, I put my hands on her and step after step you already know what was about to happen next, I won't get into much detail. So as she turned the volume up for her parents to not hear us, I say, what about your parents, won't they hear the noise and come to investigate? She just goes, nah, they're used to loud music and noises from the TV, I watch it all the time at this time. I just say, okay, whatever you say, so we continue to do the thing, and I hear loud steps from upstairs and I tell her, hey, I think I heard something upstairs, could it be that your parents are coming down here? And she goes, nah, they're probably going to the toilet or something, and I just hear 3 loud bangs on her door and the look on this girl's face just changes from moody to terrified. And she just goes, hide. So I quickly get my clothes with me and go to the closet. She unlocks and opens the door and I hear a deep voice, it must have been her father talking. And he goes, Stella, what were these noises, are you having a concert here or something? And I heard you talking with someone, who were you talking to? Man, this man's voice was just screaming and giving away things about his appearance, in my mind he looked like Hulk or something. And as I wanted to lean in and look at him for a second through a gap from the closet, I just hit my head and make a noise. And he goes, what, who's there? The girl just goes, no one, can you go away from my room please? And I hear him coming to check the closet, he opens the doors and just sees me there with my shorts, just chilling. I didn't know how to react so I just wave to him and say hi. The guy goes crazy, who the fuck are you and what are you doing in my daughter's closet? Were you fucking my daughter? I just sit there in silence while the girl is trying to pull her dad away and get him out and he just says, I'm going to get my shotgun and if I will still find you here I'm gonna kill you. And I thought, okay, it's the best time to get the fuck out of there as I'm about to get killed by her crazy father. And this dude wasn't just a regular dad, this guy was still in his 30s, at least it seemed so and he was buff, this guy looked like Mike Tyson. He looked like the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. So I quickly get my shit and I hop out from the window, and as I'm trying to get all dressed up outside still I hear her dad shouting behind me and I turn around to the sight of this girl grabbing him and trying to hold him down with a gun in his hands. I freaked the fuck out, I thought I was dead, so quickly just put on my jacket, hop on my bike and drive away and I see him running behind me still screaming something like, never come back here or you will fucking die. You punk-ass piece of shit, I just think to myself at the moment, is this stuff really happening to me right now? I only have seen something like that happen in the movies and now I'm the one who's getting chased by a crazy-ass father with a shotgun in his hands. So I get away from him pretty quickly, he stops running behind me after a while, since he could get arrested for running behind people with guns and threatening to kill them. So I finally lost him, got some time to dress up properly to not freeze my ass off and I continue to drive back to my friend's house. So 20 minutes after, I arrive, leave his bike in the garage and go to the main spot where all of them were just chilling. And they just all sit there and go, how did it go, champ, while waiting for a positive story or something. I just say, don't remind me. For the rest of the night I didn't tell them what happened because I was still in shock. The girl called me later on and apologized for her father, she just said, he's super protective, he doesn't let me hang out with boys and whenever he sees me with one he gets really mad. That made sense, completely made sense in the end. In the morning I told everyone what happened and they didn't believe it at first, but later on I showed the texts with the girl apologizing once again and then they all just burst out laughing of how bizarre and rare that shit was. So yeah, this was maybe the top 1 crazy interaction with any parents in my lifetime. I hung out with the girl a couple times after that, her father wasn't around these times which was good and yeah, that ended there. The moral of the story is, be careful you thirsty animals, you never know what type of present will you get in the Christmas. If you enjoyed this story time be sure to drop a like, leave a comment if you had any similar stories like this one or am I the only one that had to experience something crazy like this and follow me for more crazy story times. Peace out Storyfellows.